Good evening and warm welcome to the State of Business on Now Television. I'm Chamat Fernando. Let's have a look at the headlines first. IMF review of Sri Lanka will take place in 6 months, official says. Government approves state enterprise restructuring policy, cabinet spokesperson says. Now the news in detail. The International Monetary Fund said that Sri Lanka must decide on how the debt relief will be distributed among the country's various creditors. IMF Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, Peter Brewer, said that at the press conference held recently in Colombo.
Our role is to ensure that whatever debt restructuring strategy the authorities decide on is consistent with the debt targets that are designed for Sri Lanka to restore debt sustainability. So as such, we don't have any particular view on how the burden should be distributed across creditors, whether they're external or domestic. Having said that, we do have a keen interest to ensure that the domestic economy and the domestic financial system continue to work and are stable. So those are the aspects that we would focus on that in the discussions. It's up to the authorities to decide, how to distribute the burden of debt relief across all these different creditors. Yeah.
Director of Communications of the IMF, Julie Cossack, said the International Monetary Fund will review Sri Lanka in another 6 months as the country is placed on a semi-annual review basis. She said this answering questions at the press briefing held recently in Colombo. Julie Cossack said that the IMF team, who is currently visiting Sri Lanka, are only on a technical mission, and the first review of the program will take place later on this year. The director said IMF with the World Bank and India have established a global sovereign debt roundtable to reach common ground and to accelerate the debt restructuring process. The director said IMF assessed that 15% of low-income countries are in debt distress and another 45% of low-income countries are at the risk of the same fate. Julie Cossack also added that the IMF's only focus is on supporting the countries that are facing a debt distress scenario. She expressed support to the G20 Common Framework, which aims to deliver debt relief to countries with debt levels that are unsustainable. The IMF Director of Communications also pledged to help advance and accelerate progress within the G20 framework. The International Monetary Fund revealed it expects that the Sri Lankan government will finish the external debt restructuring program by September-October 2023. The IMF Director for the Asia and Pacific Department, Krishna Srinivasan, said this at the media brief held earlier this week in Colombo.
The authorities are making good faith efforts to negotiate with all the creditors, both private creditors and official creditors, and the engagement is going on quite well. In terms of the timeline, it's the expectation that the restructuring exercise will be completed by the first review of the program, which is in September or October. Just to be very clear, the IMF's role in any debt restructuring exercise like this in the context of a program, we define the macro framework, the debt targets, and so on and so forth. We don't get involved, per se, in any of the debt restructuring negotiations, defining the perimeter of debt, and so on and so forth. That said, any kind of restructuring will need to keep into account to make sure that the financial stability is assured.
Stay tuned. We will return after this commercial break. Welcome back. The government of Japan, through the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, is providing $4.6 million to empower the production capacity of smallholder paddy farmers of Sri Lanka. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations made this announcement through a statement yesterday. The FAO says that the funds are provided to empower smallholder paddy farmers in identified districts of the dry and intermediate zones of Sri Lanka. Approximately 250,000 farmers cultivating paddy in identified districts will receive up to 50 kilograms of urea fertilizer through the initiative. Smallholder farmers are amongst the most vulnerable rural communities, predominantly cultivating rice for self-consumption. According to the FAO, lack of fertilizer over 2 consecutive seasons has caused major drops in the yield, forcing some farmers to undertake negative coping strategies to meet their requirements. The statement revealed that the distribution of fertilizer will be carried out with the support of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Department of Agrarian Development. The FAO representative for Sri Lanka and the Maldives said it may take 3 to 4 cultivation seasons to fully recover the status of food security and the nutrition in Sri Lanka. The United Nations organization also thanked the government of Japan for supporting Sri Lanka and said it expects more support to boost the production of Sri Lanka in 2023. The Cabinet of Ministers approved a state enterprise restructuring policy to strengthen the government finances and create a more competitive business environment. Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena said this at the post-cabinet press conference on Monday. According to the government, the policy aims to improve the quality, price and accessibility of goods and services provided by these enterprises. Minister Bandula said that the process will reduce financial burden on the Treasury whilst creating a competitive and market-based business environment to attract private investors. The minister said that the policy aims to attract both domestic and foreign investments while attempting to promote a competitive and market-based environment. The Cabinet of Ministers on the 5th of September approved the establishment of the Public Enterprise Restructuring Unit to address the matter. It is to be done under the guidance and assistance of the Finance, Economy Stabilization and National Policies Ministry. The ministry stressed that state enterprises have to be restructured to improve finance, economic variables and balance of payments. The proposal to this effect was submitted by the President in his capacity as the Finance, Economic Stabilization and National Policies Minister. The government declared the initiation of annual Industrial Exhibition Week aiming to develop the industrial sector of the country. Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena made this announcement at the post-cabinet press conference held on Monday. The proposal to this effect submitted by Industries Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathirana was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers at this meeting. According to the Minister Bandula, the government has made this decision in a bid to promote, encourage and boost local industries as well as attract foreign investors and industrialists. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said the government have made plans to increase the industrial sector contribution to gross domestic production up to 30% by the end of year 2030. The minister also revealed that the government plans to increase the GDP contribution of manufacturing industry to 25% within the year. He said plans are underway to set up efforts to increase the percentage of entrepreneurs from 2.8% to 10%. Further, the contribution of micro, small and medium-scale industries to the GDP is expected to increase from 52% to 70% by 2030. The Cabinet spokesperson said that the goals are expected to be achieved through 6 identified industrial sectors. He added that the Ministry of Industries has taken steps to ensure an integrated approach to provide the necessary infrastructure and other facilities. He also said this year's industrial exhibition is scheduled to be held from 22nd to 25th of June. Stay tuned for the stock update. Trading at Columbus Stock Exchange ended on mixed notes today. The all-share price index gained 0.27 points to close at 8,823.28, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 3.51 points to close at 2,539.17. The turnover was 0.6 billion rupees and over 36 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.